As of the time I'm filming this video, I only have 1 week until I start the Colorado Trail. I am so freaking excited. So I'm heading off to a bluegrass festival this weekend in Lyons, Colorado. And so because I'm gonna be gone all weekend, and then of course I have to work all next week before I actually head off onto the trail, I've been preparing and getting everything as ready as possible ahead of that bluegrass festival. And one of the things that I have done to prepare is I have put together the majority of the food that I will be starting the Colorado Trail with. So I already have a video posted about the 3 resupply boxes that I'm going to be sending to myself along the Colorado Trail and why I decided to send a few resupply boxes this time around and where those are going to go. But I also wanted to do a video about the food that I'm starting with because I feel like a lot of people who haven't done a ton of backpacking aren't really quite sure where to start in terms of food, like how much should you be bringing, what should you be bringing. So I thought this might be helpful for other people to see. I have to average about 16 miles a day on the Colorado Trail. And the reason for that is that I only have a month to complete the trail. It's just the amount of time that I have off. So I am planning on my first real resupply being in Breckenridge, Colorado. Obviously Colorado, it's the Colorado Trail. So Breckenridge is about 104 miles up the trail. I will probably be making a quick stop in Jefferson, which apparently is only an easy 5-mile hitch off the trail. But I guess that's more of a, like, they have a convenience store, they have a sandwich shop. So I'm not really planning to like resupply most of my food there. I mostly probably will go in to get a sandwich, maybe a cold drink, and probably some snacks if I start running out of snacks. But I'm not really counting on that as being a true resupply, so I'm mostly ignoring that when I'm thinking about my resupply. So I'm mostly thinking about making it all the way to Breckenridge, which is 104 miles. So that's about 6.5 days of food that I need to start the CT with. I'm gonna be starting in the evening after work one day, and that is just to basically to max, since I only have a month, I wanna maximize my time so that I'm not having to constantly rush. And I also want to carve out at least a couple of 0 days in there, which is tough when you have to average 16 miles a day. So I'll be starting one evening after work. And so in that 6.5 days, it's really like I'm gonna need 7 dinners because I am starting in the late afternoon / early evening. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's get into the food. By the way, I'll be taking an sack out with me. So this is the OP sack or OP sack. I don't know how you're actually supposed to say it. Odor-proof sack that goes inside of the sack. So all my food is piled into here. It's pretty darn full, and I still have a few snacks to fit in there, including these things. So wish me luck in getting all my stuff to fit. Okay, I had to move to the floor to show you guys the actual food. I feel like the horizontal video for YouTube is kind of tough. I feel like vertical video is easier, but whatever. Anyway, let's get into the food. Also, my AT certificate fell off the wall. I gotta get some new command strips to hang it back up. It's been sitting there for like 2 weeks. So anyway, let's start with the obvious place, which is breakfast. Okay, so like I said, I'm packing for 6.5 days on trail, but I always like to include an extra half day of food just in case. I just feel like that's good practice for emergency situations, or in case you fall behind where you think you're gonna be at that point, or you are hungrier than you think you're gonna be at that point. So some of these are not in exact quantities, but it's at least 6.5 days worth of food, basically. So starting with breakfast, I am obsessed with the Copper Cow coffees. They are pour over coffees. It's Vietnamese coffee, and then they have coffees, and then they also have these little mixes that you can use to make them into lattes. So I usually at home, I drink coffee with milk, and first of all, I don't like instant coffee. It's gross. By the end of the AT, I was gagging down my Starbucks instant coffees and like literally gagging when I would drink it. So I decided that since I have a 9-to-5 job right now and I don't have to be thrifty, I could get these fancy, delicious coffees. So I got copper cow pour overs, and then since I like milk in my coffee and I don't really love powdered milk in my coffee, I got the lattes. So this is just like the plain one, milk and sugar, and then this is the mocha creamer. So these are super tasty, and they have a bunch of different flavors in the coffees. So I got the classic raspberry mocha, churro, vanilla latte, chai coffee, just like a variety. And I use these in my resupply boxes as well. Cause I'm such a huge coffee person. Like, I want a delicious coffee in the morning, even when I'm on trail. Okay, so next I have a variety of bars that I'm gonna be eating for breakfast and snacks. So I got several kinds. I also use these for my resupply boxes. I love Nature Valley bars of like any kind really. So I got some of their wafer bars. I got like their classic crunchy granola bars. I got some of their almond butter biscuit bars. I got some Velveeta breakfast bars. Nature's Bakery fig bars, just a variety. So I'm gonna have one for breakfast each day, and then I have enough also to have one for a snack almost every day as well. I think I counted and I have 11 bars total, so that'll be good for my 6 breakfasts, and then an extra day if I fall behind, and then a bar almost every day for a snack. But I usually don't end up having one for a snack every single day, but I like to have the option. When I was on the AT, I was eating a lot of hot granola with powdered milk, but I find that when I don't have my like through hiker hunger, those breakfasts are a little heavy. So I just like to have a coffee and a bar, and I'm pretty good to go. My favorite ones for breakfast are probably the almond butter biscuit bars from Nature Valley. Those are super good. I just didn't want to have the same thing every day though, because I didn't want to like get sick of my favorite things and not want to eat them anymore, because then I'd have to come up with new things to eat, and I really don't want to have to do that. Okay, on to lunches. I still need to get some sort of bread product. That is the one thing I still really need to get for this starting food. But I do have a thing of peanut butter. Skippy makes these squeezy bottles, and this is the natural peanut butter, which I really appreciate. So I have that, and then I have these little natural honey packets. So to just make a peanut butter and honey sandwich. So I'll probably get the little sandwich thins. I really like those, or like bagel thins or something like that. So I just got to make a quick grocery or Target run sometime between now and when I actually start the trail. But I have pretty much everything else I need besides the bread product. Snacks next. Okay, first of all, my friend Kristen lives on a farm in upstate New York, in Apple Orchard. It's called Dressel Farms. And she is like the sweetest person in the entire world. And I used to, when I lived in Washington, D.C., I would drive up and visit her during strawberry season every year, because the farm just has amazing strawberries. And I haven't been able to do that since I moved to Colorado, just because it's like a long flight, it's expensive, it's been COVID, and she has little kids, so it's been tough to get there. So because I haven't been able to make it for strawberry season, she actually dehydrated me some strawberries from her farm. So freaking sweet and cute. So I decided I wanted to save those and bring them. I always like to bring some sort of dehydrated fruit when I'm backpacking. So like in my resupply boxes, I put like a bag of dehydrated fruit in each of them, a different kind in each box. And so I decided I wanted to save the strawberries and bring them out for my first week on the CT. So thank you, Kristen. You're so sweet. I love you. And if any of you guys live in the Hudson Valley area and you're into farm things, fruit, strawberries in June and early July, maybe if they last that long, or apples in the fall. They're actually known most for their apples, and they also have their own hard cider company. Anyway, if you're in the Hudson Valley area in New York, make sure you stop by Dressel Farms and say Audrey sent you. So thank you, Kristen. You're so sweet. Next, I have all of my sugary snacks. I actually would have probably liked to include more of these, but I kind of ran out between this and making the resupply boxes, and I just was like, you know what? I think this should be enough. So hopefully it is. But anyway, I have Fruit by the Foots. I love these. These are like my favorite sugary trail snack. And then I also have some Gushers, super delicious. I didn't know until after the AT that everyone was eating Gushers on the AT. Like, no one told me. And then I bought some for a backpacking trip after, and I was like, why haven't I been eating these the whole time? Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, I have 7 of these, so I have one for each day I'm out there, basically. I also have some water crackers and Laughing Cow cheese, which these are my favorite kind of crackers. I love water crackers, especially the cracked pepper ones. These are my go-tos for having cheese on them. And then Laughing Cow cheese doesn't have to be refrigerated. So this is just good. Like, you could put this on a sandwich, you could put it in your macaroni and cheese, you could eat it on crackers. I probably won't bring this whole thing just because they are kind of heavy, but they come in little wedges inside this. I'm just not gonna open it yet. But they're pretty good, they're pretty creamy. They're just a great trail food. I first discovered these when I was studying abroad in Madagascar. We were given these on a field trip because they didn't have to be refrigerated, so. Anyway, ooh, I also have some vanilla sugar wafer cookies that I'm gonna bring. I'll probably break this up into 2 and bring one with me and then put the other half in one of my resupply boxes. I've been really on a sugar kick lately. I've like wanted so much sugar. So I don't know, I haven't eaten these in years. And suddenly I ate like 2 packages of these in the last like 2 weeks. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I might be concerned, except that I am about to get on the Colorado Trail, so it doesn't really matter if I'm eating more cookies than I should be. I think I'm gonna burn it off. And I've got some Munchies mix, a classic hiker snack. I actually never really bring the Munchies stuff just because it's really salty and I find I don't love like a ton of salty things on the trail, probably because like my dinners end up being so salty. But I don't know, I've been craving this stuff all summer, so I'm bringing it. And I know this seems like a lot of snacks, but keep in mind this is basically like gonna be a whole week of snacks. And I'm gonna be hiking at least 16 miles a day, so I'm gonna be pretty darn hungry. The other thing I still might get in terms of snacks is some Scandinavian swimmers from Trader Joe's. Ivex is gonna be flying in the day before we start the CT, and we're gonna make a Trader Joe's run. She wants to put some Trader Joe's stuff in her resupply boxes before she sends them out. So we're gonna do a Trader Joe's run, and the Scandinavian swimmers are my favorite trail candy that you can get at Trader Joe's. If you're unfamiliar, they're kind of like Swedish fish. They're all these little ocean-shaped like gummy candies. They're really good. And then I also have a hydration mix for each day. These are Scratch Labs. They're a local Boulder company. I really like these ones. This is the fruit punch flavor. So they're just sports drinks, you know, like Gatorade or, you know, your electrolytes, keep you hydrated. I figure the first probably 100 miles on the CT is the lowest in elevation, I believe. And I just assume that it's gonna be pretty darn hot out there because we're having a pretty hot summer in Colorado. Most days the last 2 months have been over 90 degrees, I'm pretty sure. It has at least felt that way, and some have reached 100 degrees. And so I'm just assuming my first few days on the trail before I really get up into the mountains are probably gonna be pretty hot. I mean, I'm gonna bring these for the other days as well. Even once I'm up in the mountains, I'll probably end up getting hydration mixes, but I'm especially thinking I'm really gonna appreciate these when I'm in the lower elevations and it's really freaking hot out. And then finally, my dinners. So I have a mix of backpacker meals and a couple of the other more classic hiker foods. So I recently collaborated with this company, Inertia Foods, and I liked their meals so much that I ended up buying some afterward for the CT. And something that I really like about their meals is that they're smaller quantities than some of the other backpacker meals. So like this musalaki goulash, for example, only has 470 calories, which until my hiker hunger kind of ramps up, like that's a good sized dinner for me. I'd probably have a snack with that. But you know, some of those other backpacker meals can be like 800-900 calories. And like technically you're supposed to cut those in half. Like often those will be 2 servings, but it's kind of a hassle to have to like take half out of the bag and like figure out how you're gonna cook it. Like, you're gonna cook it in a pot or like a plastic bag. Anyway, I think it's a hassle, so I just appreciate these meals that are like smaller portions. And I chose to bring the majority of the ones that I got in my first week, just because I figure I'm probably gonna be the least hungry my first week out on the CT. So in terms of those, I got musulaki goulash, switchback jack, which is like a spicy pasta, and Bora Peak potatoes. I've had these in the musulaki goulash before. The Bora Peak potatoes have other potatoes with green onion, cheese, and sour cream, and I really especially liked these ones when I had them before. And then I also have a classic potato, mashed potatoes, just buttery home-style mashed potatoes. And then I have some Indomie. This, if you guys watch my channel, you know I love this stuff. It's just fancy ramen. It comes with like 5 flavor packets inside. And this is their hot and spicy variety. And then I have 2 Backpackers Pantry meals. This is also a Boulder brand. I have the chana masala and the lasagna. And I'll just note that these two are also like not super high calorie, which I really appreciate. Both of these have 620 calories per container, which I think is a pretty respectable size for a backpacking meal. Like I feel like that's a good dinner. I've only had the chana masala once before, and I got pretty darn full off of it actually. So if they could even make it a little smaller, that'd be okay with me. Smaller and cheaper, ideally. So yeah, that is what I have ready to go. I always end up with too much food, but I think that's obviously a better problem to have than ending up with not enough food. And like I said, I'm gonna add in some sort of bread product for my lunch, some Scandinavian swimmers, and maybe a healthy vegetable snack from Trader Joe's, although I kind of think I already have enough food, so probably just the bread product and the Scandinavian swimmers. And then if I start running low on snacks, I'll grab some snacks in Jefferson at mile, I believe, 71. Probably definitely get a sandwich in Jefferson since it's supposedly an easy hitch, and I'm sure I'll be wanting a cold drink by then. And otherwise, I'll just plan to do my next resupply up in Breckenridge at about 104 miles. So yeah, that is the food that I'm starting the Colorado Trail with. I'm really excited. I can't believe it's almost here. I've been planning for this trip for so long. Like, I asked my boss 5 or 6 months ago if I could take the time off this summer to go out there. And finally, I'm only 1 week away from the trail starting. It almost does not seem real, but it is. It's coming. So anyway, I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to post from out on the trail, but I will do my best, perhaps when I'm in towns. I'm thinking that when I'm laying in my tent at night, I might be able to do some editing, and hopefully when I'm in towns, I can do some uploading. But because I am on more of a tight schedule as far as the hiking goes, I'm not sure exactly how much just like editing and uploading I'm gonna be able to do while I'm out there, but I'll do my best, and if not, then I'll definitely upload some videos about the trail once I'm finished. And in the meantime, if you want to keep up in more, like, closer to real time, check me out over on Instagram. I'm over there at Audie Payne. Same name on TikTok as well if you are a TikToker. But again, I'll definitely be posting at some point. I'm just not sure what my schedule is gonna look like as of this moment. Especially because on my last long through hike, the Appalachian Trail, I did not yet make YouTube videos. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, wish me luck out there. Thank you in advance for following along on my journey. I'm so ridiculously excited. Colorado is the most beautiful state. I absolutely love it here, and I'm so excited to get to know it better. All right, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.